Here we are at the third episode of my Cyber Streets diorama, and I'm building a vehicle. Let's go. In the last episode, I made this building with a landing pad, and I figured it needed something landing on it. So I went to the hobby shop and picked up this compact 1/48th scale armored car kit. And I thought it would be the right size and shape for this project. I very rarely follow instructions for a kit, but for this one I'll follow at least the first few steps. I kept most of the frame, but we obviously won't be needing the tires. Where we're going, we don't need roads. I was drawn to the shape of the body of this car, so I definitely want to use that with the doors, though I'll skip most everything else and opt instead for my own greeblies and bits. Speaking of bits, thanks to my friend Josh for this little Gundam kit. I'll make use of a few of these parts. These thrusters will fit somewhere. And the torso part here has lots of great bits if we separate them out. Using a super fine Tamiya plastic saw, I split the parts out to get some symmetrical sets that will come in handy later. Kit parts often require some gap filling and sanding to fit your needs. Kotobukiya and Wave make some really nice add-on parts if you can source them in your country. You can see some of those torso parts separated out here and fit in their places. But now there's a clearance issue with the original model's frame rails. Not to worry though, we can bridge the gap and snip that curve off. To fill in this empty space, I wanted to make some detail with see-through elements. And with a nice sharp pencil, I carefully sketched out a crisscross pattern on some styrene sheet. I went back and forth to the model, trying to line things up with existing geometry so it didn't look out of place. Once the shape was cut out, I built up some dimension with 1mm styrene square stock. And in the center, I put the remaining chunk of that Gundam torso. Next, I started adding some geometric panels asymmetrically to the front of the vehicle. This is probably my favorite feature of the build. Not adding the top parts of the kit means I need to flatten out the surface and then add my own version of a roof. With the roof on, I continued to add more detail, like this airplane landing gear. And I glued some beads into the rims from the car kit. These will be used to make the levitation propulsion kind of system. I struggled for a while with how to mount them, but I made use of more of those little pipe attachments to offset them from the body and frame. This is a level of detail that I'm happy with, so I'll stop greebling and hit everything with a white primer. You gotta love how everything pops with a coat of primer to tie it all together. For color, I'm using a dark blue for the underside, an orange from the top, and turquoise accents. If you're on the fence about getting an airbrush, just get one. It clogs sometimes, but it can't be beat for some things, and spray cans are expensive. With the base colors on, I brushed some metallic bronze over the blue. Painted the panels off-white. And added some varying shades of gray. Into some of the grays I added a touch of metallic silver to add a little subtle sparkle. Next, I dry brushed the vehicle, mostly the underside, with turquoise. This kind of grunges up the look, but also adds a pop of vibrant color. And you can see now I've added some black and brown washes for that serious grime. I then needed to glue on the propulsion parts, just using some thin superglue. After everything was assembled, I dusted some pigment powders here and there and painted the final and the brightest turquoise details. And now it's ready to fly through those cyber streets. In the end, I think it could have been a bit larger, but it's too late now and I already loved how it turned out. Longtime viewers will recognize this color scheme, as I've used a similar scheme more than once in the past. There's just something about orange and turquoise. I want to give a huge shout out to my direct supporters over on Patreon, Sensei level supporter Adam, Scratch Builders, Andrew Price, Spaghetti a la Mode, Harker, Paul Bechtel, JC Hayes, Gamey Builds, Richie Fender, and Sabi Hobby, and of course all these dollar store enablers. Thank you guys so much. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what you thought. Go create something, and I'll see you on the next build.